Good morning, everyone. So I went around and around on like the best way to communicate this, and so I'm gonna try something different. I thought I might like record an existing video and try to explain, but I can promise you I'm gonna do my best to keep this short and as easy to understand as possible. I've like had to really like dig into this a little bit, so I'll do my best to explain it well. Say hey when you're hopping on. Hey, Courtney. I also am like, my throat is giving me a hard time. So what I want to talk about is copaiba versus CBD. Like, what is the bottom line is, I think it could be a little controversial. I'm not knocking it. There is no judgment on what you use. I think it's really good to talk about some of like the challenges, the differences to help you understand. Why isn't doTERRA doing it? All of that. Hey, Courtney. Hey, Dottie. So in order to talk about this, we need to lay some foundation. We need to talk about the endocannabinoid system. So here we are. I hope this is the test. I wonder if this is going to be, oh shoot, my screen. Well, whatever. Oh, I should flip it. Hold on. We're going to make this the right way so that this makes more sense. So give me a second so I can flip my screen. Okay, there we are. Okay, so we need to talk about the endocannabinoid system. I'm not going to write that out. We're just going to write ECS. Super critical for us. It like controls a million different things. And for the ECS to work well, we need cannabinoids. Okay? Yeah, our bodies produce some, but also, you know, nature, right? And so those cannabinoids, they bind and to those receptor sites, and they trigger some really important things in our bodies, okay? So endocannabinoid system needs cannabinoids. Do you guys know the 3 different kinds? Do you, though? Okay, so we've got CBD, we've got THC, which is, unless, I guess in some states it's legal, and BCP, okay? Oop. Okay, so 3 kinds of cannabinoids. This is hard when it's reversed on me. CBD, THC, BCP. So let's talk about those 3 cannabinoids for a second. CBD, right, comes from cannabis or hemp plant. All extractions of CBD contain some amount of THC, so which leads us to our second cannabinoid of THC. This is where you're getting like the psychoactive component, right? The high, okay? THC, all right? BCP, it's beta caryophyllene. This is what we're going to be talking about being in very high levels in doTERRA's copaiba. 60%, that's a very significant high amount. Other doTERRA oils have BCP, oregano, melissa, black pepper, right? Okay, so those are 3, like just a super high level overview of the 3 cannabinoids. The other part that you really need to understand well, so we've got our endocannabinoid system that needs cannabinoids, and they're binding to those receptor sites, right? So there's 2 kinds of receptor sites. There's CB1 and there's CB2. There you go. Look at that. I'm so fancy. So CB1 is going to be our brain, our central nervous system. CB2, endocrine system and immune system. So personally, I do want responses through my CB2 receptors. I want like my body to be under protection, less likely to damage tissues. I want body systems to work well, recovery to go well. Okay, so that's going to be really critical. I'm not so much looking for responses from my CB1. That's like that high we're talking about, okay? So if we go back, if we consider now these 3 cannabinoids and what receptor sites are they interacting with? That's the question. So CBD has a indirect effect on our CB2 receptors, okay? THC is going to be dealing with CB1 and CB2 receptors, okay? So not so much. No thank you for me personally. CBD2, not loving that it's an indirect effect. BCP has a direct effect on CB2 receptors. So that's what I want. I want BCP. I want a direct effect on my CB2 receptors without touching my CB1, okay? I hope that makes sense, right? Am I making sense? So you're starting to see some of the challenges with CBD. One being that we don't really understand the process of how it indirectly affects our CB2 receptors. Second, we talked about how there's always going to be THC, right? It's a byproduct. CBD is a byproduct of a marijuana plant. And so because of THC being in there, they have to dilute it right? They have to dilute it down so that they get the THC to a low enough percentage that it's like, doesn't have to be regulated by the government. And so the problem is you're also diluting the CBD in there too, right? In order to dilute that, they're both in there, okay? So it's kind of hard to know what percentage of CBD you're actually getting. And it becomes very, very expensive. Like upwards of $75 a day sometimes for people to get like the quality of CBD in the amount that they need. Okay, so those are some challenges. Copaiba, doTERRA's copaiba. It has 4 species of copaiba in it. Amazing synergy, amazing blend, different from any other copaiba on the market. And so the recommendation really like kind of across the board, different ways to use it, but 2 drops under your tongue morning and night. So I have a chart I can put in the comments about like dosage amount. So 1 drop of copaiba has 45 milligrams of, I'll put the chart in the comments. It won't make sense if you can't see it. But if you break it down, if you think about copaiba, 1 to 2 drops, $35 a bottle, getting 60% BCP. That's the one we want. Whereas CBD oil, we're looking at like 2 to maybe 15% BCP in there. And you're talking like $75 to $180. This is a way different price point, okay? So the bottom line is CBD is not the right choice for doTERRA right now. Maybe one day, but there's just not enough that's known. Copaiba has a great research that's been done, and doTERRA can't offer CBD oil that meets their CPTG standards, and they won't deviate from that. And what I love about doTERRA is that like they research to make sure a product like is like beneficial for all of us, but also that there's research behind it. They're not just going to make a product because people are asking for it and there's a chance to make money on it, okay? Yes, Rihanna, definitely put a drop of copaiba under your tongue, right? We're going to be talking starting tomorrow and then Monday through Friday helping everyone remember to use their copaiba all week long and help them implement it into their routine with their copaiba challenge. So stay tuned for that for sure. And don't even get me started on how it's sourced, but I'll put the link if you want to see how it's sourced and how it's empowering people and removing middlemen and paying people fairly. So many good things. All right, so I know technically our challenge doesn't start. I'll announce it tomorrow, but I'm going to give you guys, if you watch this video, you can have 2 bonus entries towards our giveaway that we're doing, our Yar Palm Essential Travel Kit. I want you to tell me something that you learned from that, okay? So CBD versus copaiba. What is something that you learned about the difference, some of the challenges? But I feel like it's important to lay that foundation a little bit for our time with copaiba, okay? All right, tell me that. Let's get you 2 extra entries towards the giveaway. And put your questions here. I'll come back and I'll look what questions that there are. Okay, bye everybody.